Welcome everybody here to episode 2 of the Regular Guys Wrestling Podcast. Again, my name is James, and next to me here is Eric, and we're going to be chatting about the all things wrestling and things that have been going on in the past week or so, and things that are going to be upcoming. We're going to be chatting about Raw and Smackdown and everything in between.
What's going on, guys? Looking forward to episode number 2. We've got lots to talk about in today's podcast, including some wrestling rumors, a couple of topics of discussion, and as James just said, we're going to do a recap/review of both Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. So let's get things started. I'd like to start some things off with rumors of the week. Did a little bit of research here, and thanks to CagesideSeats.com for 100% of all of these rumors. Rumor number 1, Mick Foley apparently will no longer be playing the general manager role after WrestleMania. Sportskeeda's take on this is a possible full retirement. James, what is your thoughts on that?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I actually never thought Mick Foley, he didn't really click as general manager this time around. I didn't think he was a very good foil to Stephanie, unfortunately. She's such a strong character, and it's not that he's a weak character, because he definitely has some strong points. But I think, she's not really the yin to her yang, if that makes any sense. I can definitely see him not sticking around.
Yeah, I agree. Foley appears to be a little stagnant. Sometimes it just seems like he kind of stands around and doesn't really know what to say. He's the typical general manager over the years, where you'll have a face and a heel in the ring facing each other, just bashing each other, not in a match or whatnot. And his music will hit. He'll come out. And he'll say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have you and a match tonight. Well, everyone's done that, from Theodore Long to Shawn Michaels to you name it. All of the GMs have done that. I just don't really like the GM role whatsoever in pro wrestling. It's kind of lame. And that's exactly what Foley's been doing. He's just basically calling out the obvious. The fans know who's going to be facing each other at the end of Raw or SmackDown. Well, he's Raw, so I shouldn't say that. But yeah. I agree, James. He can go, he can retire, and I can't see him being needed in WWE anymore, besides possibly his daughter's show, Holy Foley.
Yeah, Holy Foley. And actually, I've only seen that one bit that we watched immediately following the Royal Rumble. We watched a little bit of it there, and yeah, it's not my favorite, but I can see why people would like it, to kind of see what goes on behind the scenes of his family, and with Noelle, that's her name, training to be a wrestler. That's fine. That's cool. I don't think he actually, in listening to some previous interviews with him that I've heard, I don't think he really wants her to be a wrestler. But since that's the path she kind of wants to take, he's supporting her and getting her involved and being involved in the training and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of cool to see. Getting back to the whole GM role, yeah, it's way back in the day when you had, and I guess it's different because you didn't used to have so many live shows. Like way back in the day, I remember watching wrestling on Saturday mornings, and they had President Jack Tunney, and they did actually have and then Gorilla Monsoon was the president for a little while. Roddy Piper was kind of in there as the matchmaker, but the heroes, they were really only involved in the big matches. There weren't all these backstage segments and all that kind of stuff, but I think, again, that might have more to do with the fact that it wasn't live all the time. There was a lot of taped segments, so that might be part of it. But the show flowed just fine without having the general manager in every second segment making matches for whatever reason. It worked just fine. Now having a general manager or a president of some sort, a figurehead, making the big decisions, like the main events and stuff, that totally makes sense. But I don't necessarily think they have to come on at the beginning of every single show and say, this is the main event tonight. You could just announce it, and you wouldn't have to have this general manager type figure coming out every single week saying, this is what we're doing. You could just have the announcer say, this is what's going on tonight. And I think that would flow just fine.
Well said. Couldn't say it better myself. Okay, next rumor. Bill Goldberg apparently is set to beat Kevin Owens for the belt at Fastlane. And then Jericho and Kevin Owens will break up and likely face each other at WrestleMania. Myself, I actually like this idea. Reason being, Bill Goldberg gets one last piece of gold around the waist. He gets to fight Brock Lesnar potentially for the belt at WrestleMania, and we get our candy, Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens. And we don't need a belt involved in that. That storyline is essentially good enough as it is. So you get two great matches. They both make sense. I kind of like how those four guys are being intertwined somewhat in each other. And I really like, we'll be getting to that, but I like how Jericho was face-to-face with Goldberg on Raw. But we'll get to that later. What do you think?
Well, yeah, like I actually like the idea of Goldberg beating KO. I really like Kevin Owens. He's definitely up there for my favorites right now. Him and Chris Jericho, they did such a good job. The whole best friend shtick. I mean, Chris Jericho, as we've talked about, is just so good right now in everything that he does and everything that he says. And they just have such good personalities that mesh. It's kind of a shame that that they're probably going to break up, but I mean it's inevitable. It's going to happen. You can't kind of ride that for too long. But I think it has the potential to be a really interesting feud. Whether it be I don't know how long term it'll be. I haven't really read anything about or heard anything about Jericho, how long he's staying around still. I'm actually surprised he's hung around as long as he has. But I guess if things are working well, that's it. I guess probably I think they're recording a Fozzy album right now. So if they end up going on tour for that, then I'm guessing he'll probably leave for a while. So this could be kind of a way to kind of move towards that as well. And like you said, they don't for KO to lose the belt. I don't think they don't need a championship belt to fight over. They've got an instant feud right there. I mean, they're best friends. They got angry with each other, and now they're feuding. Done, easy. It's a personal feud. They had an issue, and now they're going to resolve it in the ring, right? Getting back to Goldberg getting some gold. I mean, yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. To have a decisive win potentially against Kevin Owens, or potentially have Brock Lesnar interfering somehow in there, or have Chris Jericho attempting to interfere, which kind of distracts KO a little bit, or something of that nature. I wonder if that might happen. But I do like the idea of Goldberg winning the belt, and then having Goldberg versus Lesnar for the belt at WrestleMania. I think since Goldberg's won twice now against, I guess twice in the matches, and then dumped them out at the Royal Rumble as well, to have the belt on the line kind of brings a new layer to it than if they were just fighting again.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate they're both part timers, right? But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's true. But what are you gonna do, right? Who else do you put the belt on right now?
Right.
I think Goldberg, and Goldberg's money. Goldberg is a star.
Yeah, no, he's a lot more popular than he was in 2003.
I think so. That's interesting, hey, because in 2003 he was still relatively a fresh face.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not a fresh face. He was still relatively fresh in people's minds from WCW, right? Because WCW had only been gone a couple of years. But now he comes back in 2016. We're talking 12 years later,
and his relevance is gone. He's really done nothing.
Essentially, you're right. His relevance is gone. Comes back and is arguably more popular than he was 12 years ago, which is really interesting.
Yeah. I think it's just the way the company is using him now. In the past, 12 years ago, he was somewhat popular. I could tell when he came out and faced The Rock, everyone saw him as an intruder. He was the face of WCW. They started warming up to him, and then they fed him to Triple H. He lost to Triple H, and he was never the same again. And the crowd didn't forget it. And by the time he was facing Lesnar at WrestleMania 20, the crowd didn't want to see either man and booed them out of the arena.
Yeah, everybody knew that both of them were leaving though too, so they it wasn't a good match.
No,
it wasn't a good match at all. So.
All right, so if we ever decide to do a blooper reel for this podcast, this will probably actually be on there. We just realized after speaking for about 8 or 9 minutes that instead of actually speaking through our microphones that we have set up here, we were actually speaking through the laptop's tiny little millimeter microphone. So if you're wondering why the volume is a little bit different from the last 4/5 of the podcast versus the first little bit, that's exactly why. So I just want to apologize for that.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. On to our third rumor. Eric Rowan, a name we have not heard in quite some time, has apparently been at the WWE Performance Center and has been cleared to possibly return to the main roster from injury. I'm not sure exactly what they're planning on doing with Eric Rowan. As we know, he was with the Wyatts, and they kind of disbanded, and it was just him and Luke, I believe, for a little bit. I guess they disbanded because of the Raw and the Smackdown splits. I'm really not sure where they're going to put Eric Rowan. He didn't do very well whatsoever as a face. I remember he had a little thing going on with John Cena. Little concerned. Maybe give him a whole gimmick overhaul. Not sure what to say about Eric Rowan.
Yeah, trim his beard a bit. I don't know. To be honest, I forgot that he was still on the roster at all. I didn't even realize he was injured. All I know was that he had left. He had been gone for quite some time. I didn't really know why. But unfortunately, yeah, most of the stuff that he's done has been, I mean, dare I say, forgettable. He's kind of lost in the shuffle, even of the Wyatt family, even though they aren't a large group. Kind of was lost in the shuffle. So I don't really know if coming back to the Wyatt family is the way to go. I know Luke Harper, he's split from the Wyatt family, or he's been, he was tossed from the Wyatt family. So I don't really know if maybe putting him back in the family is the way to go. If to maybe align him with Harper is the way to go. Just giving him a whole new gimmick of some sort. I really have no ideas for him. He's a big man, so you could maybe I don't know. You could maybe market him as just a big scary man. On Raw you've got the big man. You've got Braun Strowman, who is marketed right now. He's the monster. So maybe give him some sort of a monster gimmick on SmackDown. Maybe just kind of the not a completely a mirror image of Braun Strowman, but something like that could work. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. What's unfortunate about Eric Rowan was he didn't have as much talent as Luke Harper, and I think the crowd noticed that. So it'll be interesting once again to see where they go with Eric Rowan.
Yeah, I never really heard even a promo from him, so I really don't know if he's good on the mic at all even. So and maybe that's why we never heard him on the mic, because he just isn't that great. I don't know though. I guess time will tell.
Yeah, I know he was in a reality show. I think it was a European reality show before wrestling. It's like an Amazing Race kind of show.
Oh.
Yeah, a little tidbit of info there for you.
He's American, right?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure he is.
I'm not sure, yeah. Okay. On to a little bit more interesting news, rumor-wise. Nikki Bella is pretty much confirmed to be retiring soon due to ongoing issues with her neck. She just had surgery recently. Apparently, she's having issues where at times half of her body is numb. So she's going to have apparently one last match, and rumors have it, unfortunately, it looks like it may be her husband, John Cena, teaming with her, Nikki Bella, to face everyone's favorite wrestler, The Miz and Maurice at WrestleMania. As you can tell, I don't like this at all. The whole year was looking forward to hearing news that John Cena would be facing The Undertaker in Undertaker's last match. Undertaker versus one of the company's other biggest stars. And instead we're being told that we may be seeing a intergender match at WrestleMania. I don't know. I wouldn't even watch this match if it was on a Raw or a Smackdown. That's my negative opinion on this.
Well, the way I see it is that if this is Nikki's last match, you never know. Like, this could have been a request by John Cena saying, "Hey, I would like to be involved in Nikki Bella's last match." So,
I wouldn't doubt it.
Like, so what better way to have a mixed tag match? You know, it's not. It could be worse. There could certainly be worse things that John Cena could be doing. And there is some history between John Cena and The Miz. I mean, after elimination.
That's one of my most hated WrestleMania matches. He's about to talk about it.
Well, I'm not really going to talk about it. I was just going to say there's some history there, but I mean, it's kind of a weird turn. If that is what's going to happen, because right now Miz is kind of embroiled in the Elimination Chamber, so to just kind of, but I mean, Cena's involved in the Elimination Chamber too, so maybe something will happen there. One of them causes the other one to be
right,
be eliminated, as it were, right? So it could be, I don't know. It wouldn't be not the worst match that they could have on the card. So
I don't hate The Miz as much as I used to. I'll be honest. In fact, I'll give Miz a compliment. I find he's actually very good on the microphone. It reminds me of Jericho. That's a very good compliment. And his wrestling has gotten a lot better. I guess, it's just where he comes from, the reality TV show weasel that he was and whatnot. And maybe, he plays a heel role so well that, maybe I kind of marked out in a way. And, maybe that's the reason why I hated him. There's other wrestlers I dislike more than The Miz now. So, yeah, I'll get off that wagon, and let's see where WWE takes it from there, I guess.
Yeah. But hey, and if Nikki is retiring, because of the neck stuff, that's the way it's got to be. Life goes on, and if her, she wants to have a good quality of life, then this is definitely the way to go. She's actually wrestling on Sunday against Natalia at Elimination Chamber, so she will have at least 2 matches, I guess, left.
Sure.
Before she's done.
Yeah, she has a long career ahead of us. She's still very young, and she could easily go into modeling, and I'm sure she'll stick with the company as well, because there's a lot of money in that company.
There's lots of things they could do for her.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Last rumor to discuss. Emma. Another name we haven't heard in some time. It's been rumored for a while now, and WWE has been announcing it as well, that she'd be returning as Emelina, I believe. Is that how you say it? Emelina. Interesting part of this is they've continued to push her return back due to possible lack of storylines with her. I could see that. I'm not sure where they'd put her, especially if her storyline is essentially to be another Eva Marie, by the sounds of it. It seems like they're kind of going that route. Maybe that's who they'll throw her against. The strange part is she actually has quite a bit of wrestling talent. So, it's interesting. She's apparently coming back next Monday on Raw. I'm just not sure what they're going to do with Emma. Any thoughts, James?
Couple things. Wouldn't be against Eva because Eva's SmackDown.
Right.
So it'll. I really don't know where they would put her. Um, yeah, like really, some of the feuds are on Raw. Like you've got Charlotte and Bailey. You've got Sasha and Nia Jax, I suppose.
I'm assuming she'll be a heel.
I would think so. Just the way just the way that the vignettes are.
Yes.
Her being the fashion model and stuff like that. It doesn't really seem like a face thing. For me, I couldn't care less, and I think that might be possibly because they keep pushing her back, and I fear that that's the way a lot of people are gonna feel is that this is she was supposed to be back, I think, before Christmas. Like these vignettes have been going on for weeks and weeks already.
Yeah, it's not good, and especially with her past characters that she's had, like when she was with Santino Marella. Well, geez, that says it all. What she was doing there, like that was a weak storyline with her
Dancing.
doing her strange dancing, and then she kind of came back with those kind of looked like a cop or something.
Yeah, she developed like a bit of a different character in NXT.
Is that what that was?
That's what happened.
Oh,
yeah.
she went to NXT.
Yeah, she went back to NXT and she was aligned with, Charlotte's friend there.
Bailey.
No,
Sasha Banks.
No, the
Nia Jax.
bodybuilder. No, what?
I'm not sure.
I can't think of her name. Anyways,
We'll call her Person X.
I can picture her. She's blonde. Does that help?
Is that the one that is Eva Marie's friend?
This is her friend. She was Charlotte's muscle for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, actually. Yes, she would run down to the ring to help her, and then Charlotte ended up waving her away.
Yeah, and
yes.
Then she had then she did have a little thing there with Anderson and Gallows.
Right.
But anyways.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so anyways, they were NXT, then she came in and then got injured, and now she's going to doing this glamour thing. So, I guess, we'll see where it goes.
See where things go.
Yep.
All right. We're going to move over to a couple of topics I'd like to discuss before we review Raw and SmackDown. First topic I want to discuss, James. Are there any returns or debuts you'd like to see in the upcoming future in WWE?
Well, I'm super happy that Samoa Joe's around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I would love to see Kurt Angle come back.
Oh, yeah.
In a wrestling role. Like even if he only wrestles a match or two, I think he's got some gas left in the tank. So to put him in a feud, against anybody, they're gonna make some money. So that would be good. That'd be really cool to see him come back.
It'd be great. I'd like to see Angle face off against Triple H. Lots of history with him. A lot of people would like to see Angle versus Samoa Joe. Not sure how they'd do that because there would be some reference to TNA there. So they might have to say, I noticed, on Raw, I believe, Stephanie McMahon just said that he won belts around the world and whatnot, so kind of a cover up there. But who else would Angle be good against? I guess AJ Styles, and they've wrestled numerous times as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fair amount of guys.
Yeah, I mean, really, you could even have.
And of course Lesnar, Brock Lesnar.
Of course, Lesnar.
In fact, that would be my number one.
You could have him against John Cena.
Yeah, huge history there.
I mean, he has history with Chris Jericho.
Yeah, so many, all these names we've just said. Great stuff.
So yeah, so there's so many directions that he could go. So I would love to see him in the ring, or even just doing something on TV.
He's a machine, though. He's gonna want to wrestle sooner or later.
Yeah, and I mean, if he has a light schedule, like if he's got a part-time deal, like a Lesnar or Goldberg, or where he only needs to, even if he only shows up on, Raw or SmackDown and he has to wrestle once a week or some weeks they don't even wrestle. So might be 2-3 weeks between him even wrestling. Not being on the road every night. That's a big deal. Like that was a big problem I think that in 06 when he left it's the road that he didn't like. That's what a lot of wrestlers don't like, I think.
Yeah, you're on the road a lot in WWE compared to a lot of other things. So, a couple other names that, in addition to Angle, Kenny Omega and Shelton Benjamin are a couple of the other characters I'd like to see either return or debut. I'm wondering how much of a pop either one of those two would truly get. I know that the smart fans will definitely know who Shelton Benjamin is, and most know who Kenny Omega is. Now, I say it that way because if you don't listen to podcasts and you don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, and you're of a certain age, you may not know whatsoever who Kenny Omega is. And Kenny Omega actually comes from Winnipeg, and I've seen him wrestle live numerous times in Winnipeg. And James, I believe you know him quite well as well.
Well, I don't really know him.
Yeah.
He went to my high school, actually.
Exactly.
But I think my brother might know him a little bit more than I do. But in any case, it poses an interesting question. In WWE, what kind of reaction would he actually get? I don't really know. He was never in TNA.
Agreed, yeah.
Was he in Ring of Honor?
I don't think so.
So
I haven't heard him say anything about that in his interviews.
So of the big promotions, I mean, New Japan being obviously huge.
I think that's his only big promotion.
That's probably the only big promotion, right?
Which is unique because a lot of the bigger guys that come to the WWE, they've been in maybe New Japan, TNA, Ring of Honor, Global Force, or I'm missing one here. Lucha
Global Force Wrestling.
Yeah, well, there's Chris Masters. Okay, sorry, horrible. Let's just replace Global Force with Lucha Underground. How's that?
Okay, fine. You could go. I could deal with that.
All right, audience, you did not hear me say Global Force Wrestling.
But what I will say is Nakamura.
Yeah.
However, got a huge reaction in NXT, and they love him in NXT. And his New Japan stuff was referenced, of course.
Yeah, they're not afraid to talk about New Japan, especially with Gallows and
Anderson.
Anderson, yeah. It's kind of cool. You could see the different relationships with certain. I could see them also talking about maybe, maybe not, but Lucha Underground. There's some Rey Mysterio and
Rey Mysterio's in there, Johnny Mundo,
and
or Johnny Nitro, Alberto.
Yeah. I think Alberto and Rey. I think there's a little bit of a sourness with some stuff in the past there. With
it could be.
So who knows? But maybe in the future. But good luck hearing them talk about TNA. I think I've heard that it's actually just going to be called Impact Wrestling now. TNA is just being dropped. So.
I just don't understand. Yeah, like the whole TNA thing, it's really confusing. Like Impact Wrestling is technically what the show is called, and their website is that, but there's still the titles are still called the TNA titles. So I'm very.
Yeah, it's probably they're just kind of referencing the past there.
I guess, and I mean I guess they're slowly phasing out the TNA name.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, I thought it was a terrible name.
Well, you know what they're referencing, so it's just very immature.
You can't even like say it.
Yeah.
Like in like a proper setting without it sounding filthy.
Yeah. People rolling their eyes. And Shelton Benjamin, well, if you're of a certain age, you'll remember him. He's one of my favorites. Huge moments with that guy. But if you're young, you're gonna say, who's Shelton Benjamin? I don't know. I know he's in Ring of Honor as well. So if some of the younger crowd also watches Ring of Honor, well, then they'll know who he is.
Yeah, he was great. In the World's Greatest Tag Team.
Yep.
When they had and Team Angle.
Oh, that was great.
With Charlie Haas there, and of course Kurt Angle. Yeah, they were a great tag team. They won the Smackdown titles at least a few times. And yeah, they were just had some great double team moves. There's lots of comparisons between them and American Alpha, or I guess American Alpha rather is compared to them, and rightfully so. They're both college wrestlers. They've got that background there, and all that good stuff. But yeah, so I'd like to see him. What kind of reaction again he'll kind of get is it's tough because he's kind of been out of the spotlight for a while now. I know, yeah, he's been in Ring of Honor and everything, but there's definitely a fan base for him. But again, it's one of those wait and see kind of things, right? When or if he comes back, you hope that it's when, not if, because he was supposed to come back last year, right? He was supposed to come back. Was it in the summer, or was it even last, like the spring of last year? Even it was a while ago now.
It wasn't long ago.
It was more recent than say last spring.
I would say it was less than a year ago.
Yeah, summertime maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then so he got injured and pulled out. But yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad. But so yeah, hopefully he makes his way back, and yeah, go from there.
Cool. All right. Next topic I'd like to discuss. It may be a little less relevant due to the recent rumors that Seth Rollins may, in fact, according to Dave Meltzer with Wrestling Observer, be rehabbing his injured right knee and still plans on returning to face Triple H at WrestleMania. But my question/topic is, should Seth Rollins not return to wrestle Triple H at WrestleMania due to injury? Who would be a good opponent for Triple H? I have three. I want to know what you think, James. My list in order of most desired. Believe it or not, I think number one would actually be, due to logic, and this makes sense, I think Batista at number one makes the most sense. Because Batista wants to retire with one final match against Triple H, and the storyline ended with Triple H and Batista, and it's basically an unfinished storyline. It's so strange. Batista was kind of tweening back to face. He was kind of tired with Triple H in the Evolution Part 2, and he just left the company, and he could easily come back. He didn't get his title shot that he wanted appropriately. Daniel Bryan got involved. He could easily wrestle Triple H. It just makes sense from a storyline standpoint. Those two know each other like, I don't know, pepper knows salt and salt knows pepper. Number two, Kurt Angle. I'd love to see Angle versus Triple H one more time. Those two are both aggressive wrestlers, big wrestlers, attitude era wrestlers. Love it. I just would love to see those two duke it out again. Then number three, The Rock. The Rock was rumored to be facing Triple H. I believe it was last WrestleMania. Never happened. They went face to face, I do believe, at the WrestleMania. They just kind of, just prodded at each other, joked around. They could easily put those two against each other. But, Batista, Angle, Rock, those are my three that would do very well against Triple H. That's where I'm at with that.
That's those are good choices. Batista, I think, I agree, makes the most sense. The way that things ended off with Evolution version 2, with him, just basically getting up and quitting, and I think he ended up leaving the whole story or the WWE a little bit earlier than he meant to. I think there was some backstage stuff going on there as well. But yeah, storyline wise, definitely makes sense, and there's so much history between Triple H and Batista as well, going all the way back to Evolution version 1, where there's the whole thing where they beat up Randy Orton with the thumbs up, and then there was the thumbs down.
Yep.
And then Batista won the Royal Rumble. So that's what happened, right? Batista won the Royal Rumble
Against John Cena, I believe.
yeah.
Yep.
And then he goes to sign the then maybe that wasn't the actually what it was, but in any case, then he goes to sign. Triple H is trying to get him to not sign the contract against him, and Batista gives him the thumbs up, and they're like, yeah, and then he puts the thumbs down. And
that was the height of Batista's career.
That was huge.
It was huge.
And then
he was white hot right there.
White hot, and
with
they
the
took out
thumbs
Triple
up,
H.
thumbs down.
Oh yeah, and
my
Triple
God.
H too. Right at that point in time, Triple H was such a great heel too, and so for Batista to take out Triple H was just huge. It was huge. I just saw a video of that recently. And Triple H had the big the Motorhead mustache.
Oh
and
yes,
stuff
where he
going
had
on.
no goatee, but he
Yeah.
had the mustache connecting
Yeah,
to
it was
the
just
handlebars.
Yeah, it was
handlebar to mustache
yeah.
to handlebar.
Yeah, it was the what do you call it? The it was kind of like the Lemmy.
Actually,
right?
they call it the Lemmy.
It's definitely the
Yeah.
Lemmy. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a good look. You gotta have a strong chin for that, bud.
I didn't like it very much.
Yeah.
I actually, I'm kind of a classic. I liked his goatee, like when he just had a full goatee, Triple H. But I'm also digging the full beard. I don't know. It just looks cool. The bald chin, not my cup of tea. To each their own.
Yeah. So Batista definitely makes the most sense. Definitely lots of history between Kurt Angle and Triple H, so that works too. The Rock, obviously, there's history there. Not gonna happen though. Not gonna happen. The last time in the last match that he fought John Cena, he tore his abdominal muscle.
I didn't know that. That was the
Yeah.
Rock that hurt
That was
himself.
against the Rock. That was against John Cena. Was that
Oh,
WrestleMania 29 when they fought the second time?
I'm kind of done with the Rock. I'm just done with him.
Yeah, well, especially after last year when he came down and just kind of took over the show. Like, he wasn't wrestling. He just kind of took over the
with
show.
the flamethrower.
I think that, and yeah, he
And
had
then
the
he
flamethrower.
Was that also him lifting Roman Reigns' hand? Was
No,
that the same show or a
no, I
different
don't
show?
think that was the same.
Okay.
That might have been the same show. I don't remember.
Those are two very bad memories. The flamethrower and him lifting Reigns' hand.
But
both
but it was
bad
and
memories.
but it was like 25 minutes of The Rock out there, and then Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family came down, and then John Cena came for the save.
And Eric Rowan.
Eric Rowan.
Didn't he get a record win on Eric Rowan because the quickest WrestleMania match?
That's right. They had a mini match, right?
Poor
It was a
Eric
6-second
Rowan.
match or whatever, exactly.
Oh, jeez.
so that's the longest match you're going to see The Rock in. Again,
Oh, that's his last match.
yeah, that his last match was pinning Eric Rowan. I'm gonna say that right now. The reason behind that, I believe, from what I've heard, is that because he is primarily an actor now, he doesn't, maybe not he, but there are certain people that do not want him risking injury to himself because he's in 12 movies a year now.
Yeah,
So he needs to stay healthy.
I agree.
So yeah. So anyways, the Rock would be cool, but it's not going to happen. The only other name that I would probably have on my list, and unfortunately, it sounds like he's penciled into, or it's pretty much written down, I'm sure, in stone, that he's going to be facing somebody else. But I really think the Undertaker versus Triple H would be a solid match. I think Triple H could carry him to a pretty good match.
See, I disagree on this. I've actually thought of this just recently, and the reason why I disagree is because Triple H and the Undertaker have wrestled on 3 WrestleManias already. Not 1, not 2, but 3. I don't want to see a 4th. That's just me.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're right, though. They have the first one at WrestleMania 15 is never acknowledged.
You're right. It is never acknowledged.
So they've probably only wrestled twice.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania.
So that's the only reason why.
Yeah. No, and that's fair. That's fair for sure. But I think Triple H is not, or sorry, the Undertaker is a solid choice.
Cool.
I wouldn't mind seeing that, and I think Triple H could carry him to a decent match, unlike his current opponent that's written down. Because
Yeah.
at this point in his career, I think the Undertaker really needs to be carried to a good match,
Yeah, no, for sure. I
especially
agree.
with the health, his apparent health.
Well, you know what? Like Angle, The Rock, and Undertaker, all Attitude guys, Attitude Era guys. Batista, Ruthless Aggression Era, I guess you'd say.
So, yeah.
But either way, yeah, all four pretty solid choices. So, yeah. Okay, so we're going to proceed with reviewing Monday Night Raw. That is the February 6th edition. James, I only started watching Raw at 7:45 p.m. Central Time. So I am going to let you kick off the show.
Okay. Well, the thing that was interesting was that Samoa Joe, or I guess rather Mick Foley and Stephanie were out there to start off with. Mick Foley, the first thing that struck me about Mick Foley was, and I guess maybe I hadn't really had a good look at him in a while, I don't know, but man, he's looking thin.
Yeah, I noticed that.
He looks probably thinner than he did, like, you know, in the Mankind days.
Oh, by
like
far.
his face is thinner, everything is thinner. I think he lost like 100 pounds.
He's got to shave that beard. He'd look even thinner.
Well, he trimmed it. It's not like crazy like Santa Claus. It is a little bit more trimmed. It's not quite as unruly as it once was.
Yeah.
But anyways, he looks good. Looks sharp. Stephanie was there as well. I am completely over Stephanie McMahon. I just don't want to see her. I have no interest. She's I guess she's a good heel, right?
Yeah,
But
very good heel. It's gotten old, right?
it's just gotten so stale. Like she's been around for so long. Like the Authority, when they kind of came back, that was what was that 4 years ago now? So she's been around probably for 4 years.
Has it been that long?
It's been close to that long, probably.
Wow.
4
I know
years?
it's been a few years.
2013. Does that sound about right?
I just didn't realize that the Authority has been a storyline that's been going on. It's been going forever. Randy Orton was part. Yeah, if you look online, if you look up the Authority, you'll see all of the characters that have been involved over the years. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's just a tidbit of Stephanie, right? She's been with the company and on TV forever.
Well, she's been a regular character on TV since what, like 1999.
Well, look, Jericho, right? Jericho was bashing her back in the day when he first came into the company.
Oh, yeah.
She was a heel then.
So we're talking probably like she was around during like the Ministry of Darkness days. So we're talking like 1999. So she's been around since then. And then, of course, there was the whole marriage with Triple H. And then there was the McMahon-Helmsley era. So really, there was obviously some spans of time where she wasn't around. But the whole Authority has kind of been around for like 16, 17 years.
It's true when you look at it that way.
If you kind of look at it that way. Like, the character is just, I'm done. I just don't want to see it anymore. But that said, we're going to be seeing her for at least the foreseeable future. So deal with her, I guess. The next thing that I really liked about Raw here is then, so they were out there for the official contract signing of Samoa Joe, signing him to Raw. And that went off without a hitch. Samoa Joe comes down looking sharp in a suit. Man, he looked good. He looked sharp.
I read online there's a lot of people that were questioning the suit. And apparently, I think it was Dave Meltzer. Yeah, it was. He had actually backed up the suit. And actually, I agree with him. It's kind of cool. He said that having Joe wear the suit was a smart idea because hitmen generally wear suits.
Sure.
And only when you're doing the job, you'll actually wear your gear. So I agree that Samoa Joe coming out in his regular wrestling gear would have been uncouth per se, and having him come out in a suit was a smart idea.
Well, having him in his black and yellow trunks, just coming out with a towel around his neck.
Yeah, he wasn't wrestling in the first place.
You got you got Mick Foley, you got Stephanie. He's there for this contract signing. It's a big deal, and for him to come down with his towel around his neck, water all over him. Yeah, that would wet wrestling boots. That would be kind of goofy. So for him to come down in a suit, A, it shows it's a big deal. B, exactly, that's a great point about a hitman, wearing a suit. And 3, fits in with they're not called the Authority, of course, but fits in with Triple H. It's kind of the corporate, kind of a corporate thing, right? So I like it. I thought, and he looked good.
Yeah, and I didn't watch it, but I did watch the recap of the contract signing online, and I actually thought he was fairly good on the mic. Heel wise, he had quite a bit of aggression to his voice.
Oh yeah, like he had some charisma. It was awesome. He basically was talking to Foley and Stephanie, and then he started addressing the crowd. And he was just full on heel. He was on fire. It was a great promo.
Well, did it not look almost like a shoot when he was saying the 18 years portion that he had? It had been 18 years, and he finally was on WWE television. He seemed frustrated.
Well, I mean, it could very well be, and maybe that's why the promo came off so well, because there was definitely some truth there. There was some frustration. Maybe he was getting some things off his chest. So yeah, whatever it was, it definitely worked, and it made me want to see him fight. Wanted me to see him see where his character is going to go.
Sure,
it was awesome. And then after that, Roman Reigns came down. The Roman Reigns music comes up and comes down. It's so funny. We were talking. There's this there's this online meme there of Samoa Joe, and then you've got a Samoan named Joe, and they're in the same ring together. Samoa Joe and a Samoan named Joe, who is the real name of Roman Reigns, who's part of the NY family. I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
Anahoy,
something like that. Yeah.
I think that meme you're talking about is the one with Vince, right?
That's the one. Yeah.
Where somebody goes to. Triple H goes to Vince and says, "Who is going?" What does he say?
He says, "Who's gonna win the Royal Rumble?"
Right.
And that's Vince, and then Triple H says, "Samoa Joe," and Vince says, "That's it, a Samoan named Joe." And then the next box is Roman Reigns coming down the ring
in the brackets underneath Roman Reigns.
Yeah, exactly.
His real first name is Joe.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it a lot. So, that worked out to be a match. It was actually a pretty good promo by Roman Reigns too. Everything flowed well. Had a little bit of energy to it. And that led to a match in the main event of Raw. Anyways, I liked it. It was a good segment.
Perfect. The first review I have is of the Gulak Tozawa match. Was there anything that occurred between those?
There was actually a bit between that, yeah. So basically after the opening segment, next came, there was a segment with Bayley chatting with, I believe she was with Cesaro and Sheamus. So going back to the Royal Rumble, she lost clean to Charlotte. Charlotte beat her clean. So I guess it was the next night on Raw. There was a 6-man tag. It was Charlotte and and Gallows and Anderson versus Cesaro, Sheamus, and Bayley. Fine, 6-man tag. Bayley gets the pin on Charlotte, which of course logically means she gets another title shot against Charlotte at the next pay-per-view, which is going to be a Fastlane. Where is the logic? She already lost to Charlotte. She beats her in a 6-man tag, so that now qualifies her for another title shot. I just don't understand. And it happens all the time.
Reminds us of our past conversations.
Yeah, like it happens all the time. I mean, there's and we're gonna hear more about that later. Actually, no. My next note here on my notes is the same thing with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn beat Chris Jericho last week on Raw in a non-title match. Why he's even fighting Chris Jericho in a non-title match is beyond me. But because he beats Chris Jericho in a non-title match, now he gets a title match. Why?
Don't know.
Yeah.
The mystery of WWE.
It's very, very strange. But that's what happens these days. And the same thing happened with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns beat Kevin Owens in a non-title match on Raw. So that qualifies him for a title match against Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. Or sorry, against Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble. Like it's backwards.
And no logic behind it.
No logic behind it. So yeah, that was 2 segments in a row. But anyways, and then the next one was Braun Strowman comes down, and he is they've got 4 jobbers. Sorry, enhancement talent.
4,
and they kind of looked like one of them kind of looked like if John Cena and Dolph Ziggler had a baby.
Okay, that's quite the visual.
Yeah, one of them looked like that, and then they kind of looked like a superhero team. They all had like different colored tights, and so anyways, Braun
So let me
Strowman-
guess, those 4 guys won.
Yes,
Just kidding.
and Braun Strowman retired.
What a twist.
Well, it was, yeah, exactly. Swerve.
M. Night Shyamalan comes out.
So anyways, I was against the enhancement talent. He just destroys them, and then flops them all on top of each other and pins them all at once.
Oh God, it's like almost a comedy.
Yeah, but no, it was okay, but it shows how powerful he was. And then he called out and said, "Mick Foley, you promised me some more competition, and I never got it, so I'm going to come after you." And so anyways,
He's going to go after Mick Foley?
He said he was going to go after Mick Foley.
Okay, so Foley's going to die.
No, I don't think he never actually.
That's how he's
caught
going to
Foley.
retire.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman is just basically going to throw him through a Hell in a Cell one more time.
Nah, Braun Strowman's just going to eat him.
Yeah, okay.
He's going to devour him.
Be warned, he's lost a lot of weight. You may still be hungry.
Yeah. So, anyways, he said he was going to go for Foley. To be perfectly honest, I don't even remember what happened after that. In regards to finding Foley. So yeah. Anyways, it was a interesting match.
Okay.
Yep. And then that led us into the debut of Akira Tozawa.
Yeah, Akira Tozawa versus Drew Gulak, 205 live cruiserweights. I finally got to find out who that individual was at the start of 205 Live every time the music hits. That's Akira. So he's from Japan. He made a name for himself in the Cruiserweight Classic. I did not see that. During his match, Corey Graves continued to claim him to be a unique wrestler. I disagree. To be honest with you all, I basically saw nothing different from any other of the cruiserweight high flyers. I'm serious. He didn't do a single thing that's different from any of the other guys, like T.J. Perkins.
Yeah, he definitely has an intensity about him, I found.
He was making those strange noises to hype himself up, and actually the crowd seemed to dig it. I'm not sure if he speaks English or not.
I actually don't know.
I'm not sure. He has a cool look to him. The sound thing seemed to work. I just thought I didn't see a single move he did that was fairly unique. One thing he did do, I'm going to contradict what I just said, was he actually won that match using a German suplex.
Mm-hmm.
Not a move that you think somebody from Japan would use to win a match, but it's actually how fast and how stiff it looked when he did it. It looked like it almost hurt the other guy, Gulak, but it was actually pretty cool. But besides the finish, I wasn't really blown away. To add to things, Brian Kendrick, who I guess is technically one of their best heel characters or more popular heels, aside from Neville, comes out clapping his hands and shakes his hand. I'm assuming that they're turning Kendrick face, or he's just going to turn on Akira Tozawa hard. I'm going to guess option 2. I can't see them turning Kendrick face right now.
No, and I don't know. Like, is Tozawa supposed to be a face or a heel? I think he's supposed to be a face.
I agree.
So yeah, like, why wouldn't Kendrick turn on him? That's what heels do.
I think that you saw the smile. We're old enough to realize that smile Kendrick was doing was not a babyface smile.
Well, I was surprised. To be honest, I fully expected him to try to take out Tozawa right then and there.
I was ready for it the whole time. He turns around and walks out of
Then
the
he
ring. I
walks
was
out of-
like,
yeah.
that's why I'm confused.
Yeah.
He still looks like a heel. Not too bad of a heel compared to others. 205 Live, nowhere near the talent of Neville. Listen to episode 1 if you want to know how much we like Neville.
Yeah, we do enjoy Neville.
Yeah,
Love us some Neville.
and I'm still 205 Live just played recently. We're not reviewing 205 Live, but they had the six-man match, and right at the end, spoiler alert, that guy with the umbrella won. Was it
Jack Gallagher.
Jack Gallagher
Shanks Jr.
So he's going to be facing Neville at Fastlane, and Neville's music hits. Neville comes out with the belt in the air, and Neville looked demonic. He looked so mad, and it was great. Again, what a heel should truly look like.
Oh yeah, he's good.
He has got it down pat.
Yeah, he's on fire right now. I like him a lot.
Yeah, so we're veering off, but not much to it. That was the Akira Gulak match.
Yeah, his intensity was that stood out, and then that's what I called the a snap German suplex.
Snap German.
It was pretty awesome.
Cool.
I don't know if that's what it's actually called, but that's what I'm coining the phrase right now.
That works. Next segment was the Kevin Owens Chris Jericho segment. So it was great. They start off by sauntering out to the ring together. Jericho had several moments that I loved. One of them, Mutton Head Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I
love it.
I wrote that down too.
It was fantastic. Jericho calling himself the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Subtle, loved it. And of course, the part where he said Tom Brady made the list for stealing his GOAT nickname, then proceeded in calling him a stupid idiot, and the crowd ate it up.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
And it's so funny because I told my wife that happened, and I said, Chris Jericho says, Tom Brady, you stole my nickname and called yourself the GOAT? Well, Tom Brady? And she says, did he make the list? And I said, you just made the list!
You made the list.
Definitely made the list.
I don't even know what the GOAT nickname is.
What's greatest of all time? That's what it stands for.
Oh, is that what it is?
GOAT. Jericho's actually had that written on the back of his tights for probably at least the last year or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what it stands for.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been calling himself that for quite some time now. What I liked, kind of switching gears to Kevin Owens, is he came out, and of course he puts over that he's still the champion. He beat Braun Strowman last week, right?
Oh yeah.
Such a good heel.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't win convincingly at all.
I don't even think I saw that match.
I think he won by disqualification. Roman Reigns came down.
Oh, okay.
So that's how he won. But just how he put himself over, saying that he won the match. It was good, and it got a lot of heat too, which was awesome.
Yeah, that's terrific. Where'd we go? Oh yeah, so Jericho basically hinted it would be him versus Kevin Owens. Potentially at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Best friend versus best friend. Champion versus champion.
But what did Owens say? He said he just couldn't envision him wrestling his best friend at WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly.
Goldberg's music hits. Goldberg comes out. He kind of bashes them at first, using his stereotypical calling them ladies and for them to grow a pair. And Goldberg then announces to the crowd that he would be accepting Brock Lesnar's challenge to face him at WrestleMania 33. That was obvious. Everyone saw that one coming. After those two insults, which I wasn't a huge fan of, I thought they were kind of immature. I actually found that he just progressed on the mic. He did really well. I think you agreed, right, James?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was a really good promo. It got the point across. He didn't have to restart 3 times, which was good.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah, he didn't have blood all over his head this time
from bashing his head into the door
when
he came out.
So yeah, no, it definitely worked.
And he challenges Owens for the belt at Fastlane. And then one of the better parts was Goldberg interrupted Jericho while Jericho was about to announce that Goldberg made the list. So Goldberg interrupts him, steals the list out of Jericho's hands, and basically signs the bottom of the list himself, stating, "Well, will you look at that? Goldberg just made the list." I thought it was dynamite. Crowd loved it. They ate it up. Jericho, classic, just looked at him astonished that he just signed his own name at the bottom of the list. Kind of belittled the list per se, but on the other side of things, the list is just awesome. So it was kind of hilarious at the same time. I don't think it tarnishes the history of the list.
No, I don't.
The list is stronger than ever.
The list has been made so strong. The list is more over than 2/3 of the roster.
You're right. It's so strong that you and I may be on this list.
No, I don't think so.
You're right. We're not on the list.
We wouldn't make the list.
Nope. You're right. So like you said, James, Goldberg sounded confident. He didn't stutter. He didn't have to repeat things over and over like he had a few weeks ago. But yeah, and then Jericho basically threw Owens under the bus, declaring it would be Owens versus Goldberg at Fastlane. So yeah, that's where that story.
Jericho's the matchmaker now. He's
the matchmaker.
He's the general manager.
It looked like it was going to be Jericho versus Goldberg, just by the way he was looking at him. And all the smart fans know about the storylines, the history those two have had in WCW and the start of WWE when Goldberg made his debut in 2003. I didn't find Jericho looked physically much smaller than Goldberg at this stage. You could tell Jericho he's put a lot of muscle since his younger days in WCW.
Oh yeah, definitely. He
does not look scrawny like he used to.
Well, back then, I mean, he was considered a cruiserweight.
Yeah, and you know what? Goldberg was physically larger back then because I'm sure there was something assisting him in being that size at the time. I don't think he's doing that.
Barbells.
Yeah, just straight up barbells. Anything else to say regarding that segment?
No, I loved it. I thought it was great. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was there was intensity there.
Yeah.
All 3 guys were gold.
Absolutely. I liked it. In fact, it was one of my favorite parts of Raw.
Yeah, I was a big fan. Yeah, and also I think a couple things I was just actually thinking about is, and this I think I thought about this on Smackdown too. Goldberg, when he came down to the ring, he shook some hands on the side, which I thought was a nice touch. He's just kind of an old school face in a way. Shook some kids' hands on the way out. He actually shook a couple kids' hands as well, which was kind of neat to see. And one other thing KO also said is after Goldberg had accepted Brock Lesnar's challenge for WrestleMania, KO claps and says that'll be a great undercard match for KO Mania 2.
Terrific.
Just great.
He's a wicked heel.
He is such a good heel. Yeah.
He's fluent on the microphone.
Oh yeah, everything that he says, it's funny. It doesn't really take you out of what the point he's trying to make.
Do you think Jericho gives him tips in the back?
I would almost think that he does.
Yeah.
And I from what I understand, I think he's pretty receptive to things like that too.
Good.
So Yeah, that's good.
That's how you learn. If you
Absolutely, yeah.
If you don't fight everything off.
Yeah, yeah. Like he's been in the business a long time though. He's not he's not super green. Like he's been around
Yeah.
for 10 or 12 years.
I think he's gonna make it far down the road if you fast forward it over the years.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be bigger than he is now,
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
for sure. What have we got next here? We've got the tag team title rematch between Sheamus and Cesaro and Gallows and Anderson. Do Gallows and Anderson have a name, or they're just Gallows and Anderson?
I don't think they have a name. When I wrote my notes, I didn't write any name down for their team.
I don't think they do have one.
They probably should have a name.
Well, when they were with
And
AJ, they were the club.
yeah, actually, that's how they were introduced. I think when they came into the WWE.
I don't remember. But anyways, yeah, I don't think they do have a name. And so they had the rematch next there. And that actually made sense because it was a rematch, right? They lost, and now they get their rematch. Always happens. They didn't have to beat them in a non-title match so that they could have another match
Right.
for the gold, right? So one thing that's funny about Sheamus's music, I never really thought too much of it before, but probably didn't give it much of a thought because I've been pretty vocal of my my dislike, we'll call it, for Sheamus.
Yep.
Over the years. But anyways, his music reminded me a little bit of Goldberg.
Kate, I thought of this recently.
Yeah.
I actually like Sheamus's entrance and music.
Yeah.
It's actually quite powerful.
Yeah.
It is. Ignoring the character Sheamus, it's pretty cool. It's dark. It's got, what is it? It shows crosses or something on the, I don't know.
It's got this big circle. It's kind of like it's like The Ring in the movie.
Yeah. No, I dig it. And it's like it goes doo doo doo, and then the light goes on Sheamus.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It is pretty cool. It's decent actually.
Yeah, and then I like how he and Cesaro were back to back, and they were forming this X per se. That was pretty cool. But just as for the actual entrance music and their little X thing back to back, I enjoyed that.
And Enzo and Cass came out in this match to watch them because I think are they going to be fighting at one point as well? I guess so. I'm kind of over Enzo and Cass as well. I don't really want to see that match, but anyways, they sat on 2 chairs. They didn't even sit at the booth. They just sat on 2 random chairs by ringside.
Yeah, they looked like a bunch of bums that were
Yeah.
just kind of, they jumped the fence and just were watching the show.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So so anyways, it was a match. It was neither here nor there. It was a match.
It was boring. It sucked.
One thing I thought was really cool. This was probably the coolest part of the whole match. Was it was a double team move between Sheamus and Cesaro. It was a rolling fireman's carry that Sheamus does, and as Sheamus does the fireman's carry and rolls over, Cesaro jumps over him and does a double stomp on the guy's stomach, chest, sternum area at the same time. It was a pretty cool move. I thought it was neat.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
And then, of course, the ending was Enzo got a boot to the face, which was it was a solid boot too. But then, Cass took exception to that, and then got Cesaro and Sheamus disqualified, and that was the tag title rematch.
That was the match. There was a small portion where Michael Cole basically reassured that it was doubtful that Rollins would be at WrestleMania, but we're hearing rumors that may in fact still occur. So we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, so they did indicate that he tore his MCL.
Yeah.
So there's 3 ligaments in the knee. There's like the ACL, the MCL, and I guess is it the meniscus maybe?
Well, there's yeah, okay.
3 pieces.
Yeah, those are all 3 different things, I do believe.
Yeah, but they're like the 3 tendons that kind of like make up the knee. So the MCL, I guess he only tore the one.
I think the meniscus tear, and my wife has had this, is the least critical of the 3.
Okay. I think the ACL is the worst.
ACL, if you blow an ACL in a sport, often they'll tell you may never play this sport ever again.
So that really big solid, one of those big solid tendons behind your knee.
Yeah, I don't recall. I think, and I could be wrong, but I think the ACL is worse than the MCL. And
Yeah.
sometimes I think Vince blew. Was it both MCLs
No, it was
running?
his quads.
Oh, it was his quads.
When he
Oh,
yeah, he blew
just
them both.
I like Kevin
Like
Nash.
at the end of the Royal Rumble there, when he
Yeah.
tried getting into the ring, yeah, he
with
busted both his
Batista and
quads.
Cena.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, so anyways, rumors though are that apparently he might be good for WrestleMania. So I don't know how that works, and the MCL must be the one of the least that are bad. I don't recall, but anyways, might see him, might not.
We'll find out.
Remains to be seen. Yep. So the next one was what? New Day versus the Shining Stars,
Yeah,
right?
we go from one amazing tag team match to another amazing tag team match.
The only notes I made on this, and it's 100% true, New Day, and I've left the room.
Yeah, well, I made a few extra notes, but I was just as interested in this match. Corey Graves' hipster reference about the Bootios being non-GMO, I found that funny.
That's pretty solid.
I was questioning whether or not it made any sense that the New Day was allowed to kind of throw the Shining Stars under the bus by claiming that the resort pamphlets they hand out aren't even real. The resorts they aren't even real. So as much as I don't care about the Shining Stars, it's kind of like, okay, so you're basically admitting that this is just a work and that the papers in their hand mean nothing.
It's it's the only part of their gimmick.
It's, The Rock has been no one really thinks of this, but The Rock is famous for burying people and basically people being, accepting in them doing it. But yeah, that's what The Rock is popular for doing. So he'll go up to somebody who has a gimmick and make fun of it on the microphone. Well, it kind of felt like they were doing that. Like James just said, their only gimmick is those pamphlets, and they're like, we all know those pamphlets aren't real. And it's like, okay, there goes their gimmick again. Those two guys have got the worst luck in WWE.
Might as well put the masks back on.
Yeah, and get their little guy there with them. So another couple notes, and then we'll proceed because I'm really not interested in this match. I noticed that New Day is now dumping actual cereal. Let's face it, it's Cheerios, into people's mouths in the crowd now.
Cheerios are my favorite cereal of all time.
Yeah, the regular ones.
Love them.
Yeah, those are good ones. And even lamer, they, for some reason, have got an ice cream chant going. Ice cream has nothing to do with their gimmick, and they didn't provide the crowd with ice cream, yet they got the crowd to cheer for ice cream and were mentioning ice cream throughout the match. Dumb. Just hated it. James, is there anything else about that match that you We're going to proceed, folks.
I think during that match I made a wonderful cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you guys get our sentiments on that match. In fact, after the match, they had a commercial about Cena versus Orton on Smackdown, and I noted that was more interesting than the match that just took place, the commercial itself.
Yeah.
So we'll move on. Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho. I noted that the crowd booed both guys after the names were announced, and I actually suspect that it's probably because they're both announced as being Canadian. I just noticed, it was clear that both men are Canadian. They were both being booed in the ring. Jericho turns, looks at the crowd as he's booing, puts his arms out, and just lip syncs, "Drink it in, man." I haven't heard him say that in a while.
No.
Loved it. He just brought that back. He didn't need to do the list. Drink it in, man.
When he first brought that "Drink it in, man,"
Yeah.
I remember. I think I was telling you, and one of our other friends about that.
I do remember.
And you guys thought it was ridiculous.
I did.
Yeah.
Now I like it.
Yeah.
And the crowd, by the way, cheered after he did that.
Oh man,
He could turn the crowd. The crowd doesn't care that he's Canadian. He's so good, they just don't care.
He can just get the crowd eating out of the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
Yep, he's good.
Um, So yeah, a couple notes. Zayn pulled off his insane flip jump over the top rope onto Jericho. That was pretty cool.
That's
Give him
always
that.
cool because he's not the smallest guy in the world.
Yeah.
So anytime he can get that big, huge, like flying swanton bomb type.
Yeah.
Back in ECW days, Joey Styles, anytime anyone would flip over the top rope, he would always scream, "Somersault plancha!"
Plancha.
Yeah, always.
The crowd actually was increasingly growing hot for Jericho. When he landed his lion salt on Zayn, they were cheering like mad. You'd swear Jericho was a face half the time. Crowd just loves him. They were doing stupid idiot chants. They did "This is awesome" chants near the end for both guys. And last note, Kevin Owens did a missed kick to Sami Zayn when he was leaning on the ropes, and Jericho then landed the code breaker for the win. Yeah, so that Kevin Owens kick didn't look very clean, but I guess mistakes happen once in a while. But Jericho, he landed that code breaker nicely. So
You must have been looking really hard though, because I didn't even notice that.
oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I
no.
noticed. I didn't even need to rewind.
Oh.
It was I think he slapped his leg to make the sound.
Yeah.
I made one other note, quick little discussion piece. Let's make this one a quick one. When was the last time Chris Jericho won a match with the Walls of Jericho?
I don't think it's as long ago as you probably think it was.
Okay.
But
Legitimate question.
Yeah, no, it's not nearly as often as it used to. The
No,
code breaker
it's
is
all
primarily
code
his move
because
now,
it's
yeah.
more of an impact move.
Yeah,
as opposed to
it
a
can be.
submission
It's one of
move.
those things where it can almost be hit from anywhere,
Yeah.
which is cool. And that's kind of been his primary move, I think, since even 08.
Yeah,
A
cool.
long
Anything else about that match?
No, I thought it was a really good one. That's all I said. Yeah, decent
Okay.
match. Yeah.
Cool. There was a small segment afterwards. Charlotte and Sasha Banks in the back. Sasha Banks did nothing. She just sat on the bed with her, pretending to be injured. I guess
She didn't say a word, did she?
nothing.
Just sat
Just
there
gave
the
a
whole
kind of
time.
a puzzled face. Charlotte, on the other hand, well, you and I are pretty impressed with Charlotte as of late. She kept working it heel wise. She did very well. I found she solidified her level of her heel abilities, and I don't know, I was just kind of impressed. She just kept kind of bashing her and insulting her, but didn't need to lay a finger on Sasha. So yeah, it was a fairly good segment, one-sided segment, but
Definitely one-sided. Yeah, I'm just not feeling Sasha Banks at all.
no, she was nearly, well, I'd say she was red hot at one point, and now I don't know, she's kind of fizzled out.
She's pretty. I think so. I agree.
There's something, I don't know. She had that
Something's-
legendary Bailey match, and everyone was high on that. And I think you had said it best to me, James, in the past, is she was a much better heel, and they turned her face. She kind of sucks as a face, so much to the point where I don't know if she could return as a heel now. And they continue to remind us how small she is. And now when I see Sasha Banks, I do see how small she is. She is puny.
She's really petite.
She is puny. When she was wrestling Charlotte, it was like, this is ridiculous. Like, it almost actually looks more ridiculous. I don't know. I'm just going to stop there. Yeah. It makes Bailey look like she's towering over her.
Yeah.
But-
She is tiny for sure.
Yeah, I just not feeling the Sasha Banks myself as
Mhm.
well. Afterwards, we had a cruiserweight segment with the 5 contenders. I just talked about that match before, I believe.
You'd kind of
I
alluded a little
quickly
bit to it.
talked.
Yeah.
That segment was so bad. I mean, it was terrible. And they had a match afterwards, Dad. But it was horrible. It was one after the other coming into the ring. Those guys need to work on their acting because it's really awkward and uncomfortable to watch. Neville, on the other hand, he was awesome. We already discussed this. He kind of overshadowed all of the guys. And I actually noted this as well, and this is actually kind of cool. Neville is such a good heel. that he doesn't even have time for lame heels like Noam Dar. And he continues, and this has happened on a few different episodes, where he thinks he's so disappointed in Noam Dar, and I guess he feels that he sucks so much that Noam Dar will go to tag him in, and he'll jump off the ring, and he won't let Noam Dar tag him in. That's terrific. I love it. And he'll just walk away, and Noam Dar will be crying in the middle of the ring, asking him to come back. That is awesome. I like that. You know you're a heel when you're a heel towards other heels. So yeah, that was cool. And I just noted that I find Cedric Alexander and TJ Perkins to be douchebags. Because they kind of are. But that's the cruiserweight segment, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Now, one thing with Neville, and it's not just restricted to Neville, but he comes down, and he's even wearing his wrestling gear.
Yeah. Why? Eh?
But he came down, and he doesn't wear the belt. He just doesn't wear the belt, and that always bugs me. I remember back in the day, the Macho Man, he had the world title belt, and he'd be wearing street clothes. Hulk Hogan too, wearing street clothes. And they've got the belt around their waist. They got jeans and a T-shirt.
So it bothers you?
I think they should always be wearing the belt.
I've said before, if I was a wrestler and I was the champ, I wouldn't wear the belt.
It's a belt, though. It's a belt.
I know, but if you're an anti-hero or you're a heel, you're too cool to wear a big gold belt. Austin he put it over his shoulders.
And it always bugs me.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, I didn't like it at all. He dragged the belt to the ring. It's like there should be a little bit of reverence to the belt.
I love the slight disrespect of it. I don't know if you'd say. I even like that the Dudleys threw the belts over the ropes. There's even more disrespect, and I think they dragged the belts to the ring.
Well, Bubba Ray would wear it like around his face.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
But no, it's a belt. Should be wearing the belt. So you got all these different guys, all these cruiserweights. You've got they refer to Richard Swan.
Oh yeah, they use his name.
Yeah, and then I didn't realize Noam Dar was Scottish, so he's
is that what it is?
Yeah, he's my new favorite because I'm part Scottish as well. Love him.
Oh, okay.
They ask so of all these guys, they ask Neville, hey, who scares you the most? This
His
is
face, eh?
This is what was his name there? Austin Aries is doing the interviewing for whatever reason now. And so he says, who scares you the most? And he's like, nobody. And so Cedric comes down, of course, and he's so small. And then Dar comes down. He's whatever. Gallagher comes down. He's got his umbrella and his mustache.
I don't find Cedric Alexander to be very small.
You know what?
He's
funny.
pretty jacked compared to the other guys.
He is jacked, but he just looks stubby. I think maybe that's what it is.
Well, he's no Neville.
No, but he looks stubby to me. I don't know why.
Okay.
He seems stubby. And then I like this a lot when Tony Nese came down.
Oh, that guy's jacked too.
Yeah, he's jacked. But Corey Graves didn't even say that Tony Nese came down. He said, "Oh, and here comes Tony Nese's abs."
What? Okay.
I thought it was pretty funny. And then Perkins comes out, and actually nobody really likes him. He got either no reaction or boos.
Yeah, I don't know why they're pushing this Perkins guy because the crowd isn't interested in him in his character whatsoever.
So
I'm one of them.
But yeah. So anyways, they kind of just hyped. They were all there to hype the 5 or 6 man match on 205 Live the following night, and so they've got a match now, cruiserweight title match at Fastlane, I guess.
Yeah, that's who's it again?
Neville versus Jack Gallagher.
That's great. That's great.
So so that was that, and then next, the second to last segment is with KO and Chris Jericho in Vegas next week. They're going to be having a celebration of sorts,
and a very special one.
A very special celebration, the Festival of Friendship.
Only these two guys could pull this
so
stuff off.
Good.
I know.
You're right. Only these two guys.
These two of other ones. Imagine Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins who are apparently friends again, had a festival of friendship. Exactly. It wouldn't succeed whatsoever. But KO and Jericho,
It's gold.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's gold.
It's gonna be funny, and it's in Vegas. Has there ever been a Raw in Vegas? It's kind of exciting.
A Raw in Vegas? There's not too many events in Vegas, actually.
You ever been to Vegas?
I have never been anywhere.
Well, I've been to Vegas 4 times, and that would be pretty freaking cool to see a Raw in Las Vegas. I would go. I would definitely go. Why not? I've probably spent more money on a show in Vegas, like a Cirque or something like that. Cirque du Soleil.
If they had like a WWE style Cirque du Soleil,
that would be terrible.
Have all the cruiserweights.
Oh God.
On trapezes.
Yeah. I guess that leads us to the final match.
The main event.
Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. Samoa Jones, he beats up Reigns before the bell. Classic heel. It's nice. Good. Nice touch.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I also noted here that, and I had mentioned this earlier with Stephanie, but whenever WWE refers to two wrestlers meeting in the past, for example, in TNA, such as Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, they'll say something like they battled each other around the world, or they'll say something like they've met in the indies, and they actually did that when they were quickly mentioned that Samoa Joe, I believe they mentioned Samoa Joe had met up with AJ Styles, and they said that they battled around the world.
Right.
Yeah, it's just funny that, that's basically code for TNA.
Yeah. They battled in Orlando, Florida.
Oh God. What's your thoughts on the match itself?
The match itself, I thought it was a decent match. I don't really think it was anything extremely special. Corey Graves he was pretty magical with some of his comments tonight, or on Monday night, I should say. There was one comment where he said Samoa Joe can do it all, and it all hurts.
I like Graves.
He's good.
Yeah,
I like him a lot.
I don't know if I liked him much. I'm often like I judge at first.
You do.
But I do.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But then they grow on you.
Thanks, James. But I don't know why I judge Graves, because he's actually got a cool look.
Yeah.
I think I'm just scared of change. There we go. I'm scared of change.
Oh, you're scared of change. That's what it is.
And then I accept.
Yeah.
And then I accept the change.
Yeah.
And then I truly ask, do I actually like this person?
Yeah. I think originally he was supposed to be almost like the next CM Punk
I heard that.
in a lot of ways, but then he got injured.
Well, I could see that, because look how good he is on the microphone as a commentator.
Great on the microphone and has a very similar look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just recently looked at photos of what he looked like when he was wrestling, because I'd never seen, to this point, I've never seen him actually wrestle in NXT. And
I don't know if I have either, to be honest.
Yeah, kind of cool. Yeah, he had a kind of a punk look to him. Yeah. So, yeah, and then what, Strowman ran in?
Yeah, one thing I noted here actually is that Reigns, oddly enough, was actually getting some pops, I found.
Okay.
Yeah.
It probably, I don't know.
During the match, anyways.
Yeah, I don't know.
There were a few pops here and there. It wasn't all negative reaction, so.
Strowman ran Reigns right through the barricade.
Yeah, that was like. Then of course there was that. Yeah.
And the crowd seemed to enjoy the dismantling of Reigns. They seemed to wake up quite a bit more when Strowman was beating him down.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah,
they chanted "Thank you, Strowman."
It was a classic slobber knocker.
Slobber knocker, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a straight up wrestling match.
Yeah, it was a brawl.
It was a brawl.
Yep, it was a brawl. It was good. I liked it.
Yep.
It was a good way to end Raw. Samoa Joe, on the record books, his first official WWE match is a win.
That's true.
Pinned Roman Reigns.
Yep, that was Strowman that assisted him with that.
That
right?
was,
Yep.
yeah, but still.
It is what it is.
A W is a W. All right. So I think lastly, why don't we chat a little bit about SmackDown?
Sure, we'll do a quick recap.
Yeah, just a quick recap of SmackDown. I know you didn't watch it.
Not whatsoever, no.
No, but I watched it. I watched it this afternoon. That was a pretty decent show. I didn't even realize. I guess I missed that when we were watching Raw. I didn't realize that Cena and Orton were fighting actually on SmackDown. So that was kind of a pleasant surprise. So anyways, basically they were in Seattle, which is the hometown of the general manager of SmackDown, Daniel Bryan. So he comes down, huge pop, huge yes chants, of course. They love him. Yeah, you know who's actually I noticed, which was kind of weird, is on SmackDown. So on Raw you've got your three announcers. SmackDown also generally has the three announcers, which I don't know if you even need three, but they've got the three announcers. They had four announcers on SmackDown. I haven't really been watching SmackDown. I never really noticed, but yeah, they had Tom Phillips. They had who seemed to almost be like the main guy, which was kind of strange. And then you had Mauro Ranallo, who I really like. They have JBL, and then they've got David Otunga. But anyways, huge chant. He basically said that the last year was hard, but he's still grateful. Like he said, basically on his retirement explanation there, he said that he is grateful. He is grateful he's going to be a dad soon, which is kind of cool. Got big pops. And, of course, out comes The Miz.
Of course.
You love The Miz, Eric.
Well, just what's frustrating is they're never going to actually have a match, so I don't know where they're leading this to.
You know what? I wonder if they'll come back and maybe Brian will have one last match. Who knows?
I think so.
It could happen.
It's risky, though, for his health.
It is risky for his health. I mean, I guess it all depends on... Yeah, they'd have to clear him, right? Anyways, it could happen.
Well, I think he is clear. I think this is his choice at this stage.
At this point? Oh, yeah.
I do believe so.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, I guess, as long as he doesn't do too many really high-impact moves, it might not be too bad. One thing I noticed about The Miz was his really forgettable entrance music. It is boring. It is just dull. And he wears this hood thing.
You know who else has boring music?
Who's that?
Actually, I was going to mention it earlier, but I forgot. Gallows and Anderson. I can't stand that song.
I don't even remember.
It's just some generic, like kind of a punky rock song, but it's just not catchy whatsoever. So you say The Miz is all... Yeah, The Miz...
Yeah, The Miz is just dull.
Oh,
there's nothing to it. Nothing memorable.
I
about
hate
it at
bad
all.
entrance music.
Yeah. So basically he comes out, he's mocking Daniel Bryan. Of course, the crowd hates it. They let him know they don't like it. And Bryan says, why doesn't Bryan just be a stay-at-home dad? Get out of here. You don't belong here. And then he says, you can't even wrestle. And Daniel Bryan says, well, the same could be said about you.
That's good.
Yeah. And the crowd just ate that up. And then The Miz tried to kind of come back, but they were just crapping all over it. And The Miz got frustrated. And then it started with Baron Corbin coming out again, talking about Elimination Chambers this Sunday. One thing I see that all the heels are doing these days a lot of them anyways, they're all getting beards. So he's got a beard now, which means he's got more edge than he even did before, right?
Ooh.
Got the beard. And he says The Miz talks too much. And The Miz says, maybe you and I can join forces. And Corbin says, or maybe I can just kill you now.
Well, interesting.
Yeah.
Is that a potential anti-hero thing going?
Could be. I don't know if he actually said kill, but he just basically said we could do that, or I could just destroy you.
That's kind of anti-hero.
Yeah,
you don't know if he's face or heel right at that second.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. So and then Ambrose comes out, of course, and which leads me to believe that they're all going to be out here. You know, that's just how it usually goes. And he says that Miz and Corbin are pretty cute together. And he's like, and Ambrose, getting back to the hood thing, says that I can't take you seriously to The Miz with that thing that you're wearing.
He said that to The Miz?
Yeah. It was pretty good.
Is he wearing that cape coat thing? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that cape hooded coat thing.
Geez.
Yeah. And then Ambrose says he loves the Elimination Chamber. It's where he belongs, where he's going to thrive, and he's going to walk out with all the gold. Then AJ Styles comes out. He's the heel, of course, but the crowd loves him. They just cheer him. And it's really hard to cheer against AJ Styles. And AJ Styles, I don't know why I found this really funny, but he says, well, he comes down the aisle and says, well, while you guys are out here playing tickle butt.
Tickle butt.
I thought it was pretty funny. He says he's going to win because he's beat them all.
Okay.
And then they chant for Styles because he has beaten them all. He's good. And he tells them, shut up.
Yeah, reminds him that he's a heel, right?
But they keep cheering. He can't quite do it. And then The Miz calls himself the must-see superstar of all time.
You know who it's going to be? It's going to be Cena, Styles, and Corbin.
Yeah.
At the end.
At the end there?
Yeah. You could see... Well, who's the other three? It's Miz, Ambrose.
Yeah, it's Miz, Ambrose, Corbin, AJ Styles, John Cena, and Bray Wyatt.
Oh, you know what? That's right. The rumor is Wyatt could win it all and face... Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's all good. So basically Daniel Bryan says, hey, everyone's got to calm down. You guys are going to fight each other tonight and right now. So, it was a decent match overall. A couple of weird things, actually, about this match. AJ really oddly goes for, like, his flying phenomenal elbow off of the top rope with Ambrose, like, 2 feet from him. So he jumps on the top rope, and Ambrose just pushes him away. And he lands, and he kind of, like, clotheslines himself on the top rope. This is very strange. Yep. And then there was this weird thing with it was with the 3 guys except for Corbin, so the Miz, Ambrose, and AJ. They did this thing where they just kept rolling each other up, like over and over and over again, and it was actually kind of neat. Yeah. There was a cool moment where both Miz and Styles were trying to do a superplex to Ambrose off the top rope, but then Corbin came and kind of gave them all a power bomb.
Oh,
yeah, it was kind of neat. So everyone was involved. I have a note here that I absolutely love Deep Six.
Yes, as per
love
episode
that move.
1.
Yep. So it's just a basic move.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really much to it, but
pendulum slam.
But it's awesome. It's just great. And then End of Days actually wins it. He pinned AJ.
Or the End of the Days is the pendulum.
No, end of that's the pendulum slam. Yeah, exactly. No, the Deep Six is just like a spinning like back suplex.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, it's a cool move. Maurice pulled the Miz out of the ring.
Okay.
Saved him from AJ.
Yeah.
Who then got hit with End of Days from Corbin, who went ahead and got the pin. Yeah. Promo in the back from Luke Harper, actually.
Oh.
And says that Orton stole his family.
Was he talking clear?
He was talking very clear.
Because I know what he sounds like normally.
Yeah.
So he was talking.
He was talking clear.
Okay.
And he kind of said something cool that he said was, they say that the most dangerous man is a man that has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Well, what about a man that never had anything to begin with?
Ooh.
It's kind of a cool line.
Very cool.
So he's a pretty scary dude, and he says he's and one thing that you do to stop a snake is you cut the head off the viper.
Oh wow.
But he wants Orton to pay. He wants him to feel pain. So they're fighting Elimination Chamber. You know that? Harper and Orton. Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's should be
just those two,
or
one-on-one. Okay.
Yeah, one-on-one. Orton
Cool.
versus Harper. Yep, should be all right.
Nice.
Yep. Maybe Rowan will make a return there or something. Who knows?
Oh, good point.
Yeah. Guess we'll see. Next was a Nikki Bella interview. It was they kept saying that so they were just on the screen. And so you had Nikki Bella on one screen and you had Natalya on the other screen, and they were saying that they had to separate them because it's too intense.
Okay.
So, anyways, Natalya just thrashed Nikki though.
Really?
Thrashed her, saying she's gonna expose her as a bad person and a bad wrestler.
Wow.
So, anyways, it was pretty crazy. It was actually decent. Nikki ended up walking away. So yeah, Nikki's gonna win that match, I'm sure. If I had to call it. which I will. Nikki Bella will win that match.
Okay.
Next was Miz versus Apollo Creed. Sorry, Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews.
Oh, no, I don't blame you. I do the same thing all the time.
Yeah, Apollo Crews. I had no interest in this match at all. I'm not a fan of them. No, sorry, I wrote Miz down. It was Ziggler. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was Ziggler.
It was Dolph Ziggler.
Ziggler, Miz. They're both from Ohio. Ohio. They're both from Ohio.
Yeah. So,
And they
anyways,
both
it was Dolph Ziggler versus Apollo Crews. Again, yeah, no real interest. I think Apollo Crews is kind of boring,
Yeah.
and Dolph Ziggler, yeah, I'm just not a fan.
Oh.
Yeah, what's his name? Callisto came down after the Miz got really mean with a chair, just to remind you that he's heel now.
Right.
Yeah, they caught him afterwards, and he says it's more fun being a heel. Essentially, it's more fun this way.
Is that what he said?
He didn't say heel, but
But he basically said that in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Just more fun.
it's more fun this way.
Okay.
Yeah. Next, which was actually a dual contract signing, which for some reason it was a really big deal to emphasize the fact that this was the first time ever that they had a dual contract signing. It was between Becky Lynch and Mickie James.
Oh,
'Cause
right.
they're wrestling. And also, what's her name there? Naomi is the #1 contender for the women's title, so she'll be actually fighting Alexa Bliss
Okay.
at the Elimination Chamber match there. So yeah, Renee Young came out. They had the dual contracts for the first time ever, and the heels are together. They both came down together. They're friends. Becky Lynch came down again. Remember, I was talking about how Goldberg was slapping hands.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch too. It's good. I like it. And then Naomi came down. She wears there's lots of neon and stuff, right? So, anyways, lots of yakking, back and forth. Mickie James was pretty good on her promo was really, really good. She basically talked about the fact that she's been gone for 7 years, and she's essentially the one that created women's wrestling. There would be no women's division if it wasn't for her, because she was a 3 or 4 time women's champion back in the day. And yeah, they just kind of yacked back and forth. She said she was the basically took credit for the women's division. Says if there was no Mickie, there's no Becky. Becky says, "What are you talking about? You walked away from the WWE when things got too tough."
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And then Becky just basically said she's gonna walk right through her. Alexa kind of yacked a bit. Said she's kind of was talking towards Becky Lynch. She's actually a really good heel. And then she comes back and says, "Oh yeah, Naomi, I forgot you were even here."
Oh, jeez.
And Naomi says, "Dad, don't worry, I'm here, and I'm gonna take that women's title." And then she points to WrestleMania, the WrestleMania sign, for some reason called Alexa Bliss, Lexi Boo Boo,
Lexi Boo Boo.
which I kind of liked actually. And then she kicked her down, and then there was a big huge fight that broke out. Heels ran away, faces stood tall. That was a pretty good segment overall.
Nice.
Second last segment was American Alpha and the rest of the face teams versus all the heel teams in a 12-man tag match, which I found was kind of disappointing because there just isn't any decent tag team feud going on. Even at the Elimination Chamber, it's going to be a 4 tag team match. No, I guess it's going to be all 6 teams rather in the Elimination Chamber. It's kind of cool, I guess, but at the same time, there's nothing else for these tag teams to do. There isn't a solid feud for any of the teams.
They're running out of things.
Kind of. Get this. Victor from the Ascension got the pinfall.
Really?
Yeah.
Is Victor the smaller guy or
He's
the bigger guy?
He's the smaller guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the guy that that didn't get suspended.
Oh, I didn't even know that the bigger guy was
Yeah,
suspended.
Connor got suspended for the
Wellness policy?
Wellness policy last year, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, so anyways, for some reason, my notes didn't actually save on the main event.
Okay.
For Cena and Orton. So I will say, it was pretty paint by numbers. They fought each other. so many times over the years.
Yeah.
I remember in my notes I wrote down it was Cena Orton 41.
The only difference is, and a lot of people don't respect this part, is they have not wrestled each other recently
No, it's true.
that much.
No.
Yes, and you know what? If you look back at all the times they wrestled, they looked very different from what they do now. You know, would you say so? Orton's nickname right now, is the Viper, right?
Right.
Let's do it this way: the Viper versus John Cena, we have not seen that much of.
No, not really.
It's the Legend Killer and that era, and even more so. But I don't know. I always like seeing them wrestle. They're very similar, yet somewhat different. Cena's more of a power guy. Orton's smoother than Cena. Yet both roughly the same size. You know, Orton's a little taller, about the same age, slightly. You know, Cena's a little bit older. Both came into the WWE at the exact same time. They both look. Some people say somewhat similar too. It's kind of weird. You'd swear they're brothers sometimes fighting each other. But I don't know. I kind of like seeing them wrestle.
Yeah.
It's different. It's not, you know, when Orton fought Lesnar, okay, huge size difference. Or when Cena fought Lesnar, huge size difference. But these two guys are obviously in the same caliber, and sometimes it's nice to see that kind of a thing.
Sure.
You know, as opposed to one guy that's way smaller than the other guy. And I feel, yeah, I really do feel like they're in the same caliber. When I see someone like Dean Ambrose fight John Cena, different caliber. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm kind of coming across.
Yeah, I know. I totally understand what you're saying. Like, they're both top. They're both top guys.
Top guys,
It's top talent.
but they're in the same kind of boat.
Yeah, for sure. My
you've
point is that you've seen them a lot.
Seen them, yeah.
Even though they haven't fought a lot lately, you've still seen them wrestle a lot.
You have. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
So there isn't a lot more that I think these guys can do. In this particular case, there is definitely a different dynamic, obviously, because Bray Wyatt was out there.
Okay.
And he was out there with his rocking chair, and that was all right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it was kind of, back and forth match. Orton hit him with the RKO. Cena kicked out.
Ooh.
Kicked
God.
out of the RKO. One cool thing that Orton did, which I haven't seen before, is, he does that DDT from the second rope, right, where he hooks the guy's legs.
Yep.
On the second rope. He actually did that from the top turnbuckle.
I've seen it before.
Oh, I haven't
seen
that.
And guess who he's done it to?
To John Cena?
He's done it to
Oh, yeah,
Cena.
there you go.
So it's probably because Cena knows how to take it.
Probably.
I actually think
Got
I
a
may have
thick-
talked to you about it in the
Got a
past.
thick enough neck, probably.
But yeah, and generally it's a pretty special one when he does that, when he puts him right to the top. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. But that didn't finish it off either.
Didn't finish it off, no. And then, actually, Luke Harper came down. Oh, sorry. The referee got knocked out.
Okay.
But you don't really see all that much anymore. You don't see
No, you're
the ref
right.
bumps too much.
Not too much. No.
For a little while, it seemed like every other match. I mean, it's been a while since it's been this way, but it seemed
Sure.
like every other match was a ref bump.
Yeah.
Always. So, anyways, the ref bump was a little bit refreshing, actually. So, anyhow, Bray Wyatt got in there. They double teamed Cena, and then Luke Harper came down, and Bray Wyatt was trying to kind of hypnotize him a little bit, and Harper looked like he might be going for it, might just be kind of falling back in line, but no, took out Bray Wyatt, which is cool. And then Cena got back in there, and Orton tried for the RKO, missed. Cena got him with the AA. And just then the ref magically came too and beat him.
Okay.
Yep, so Cena won, which makes sense. He is the champ.
Yep.
It's fine. It's logical. I don't mind that at all.
I think actually Orton had got an RKO on Cena just recently, and beat him as well, and that was on a Smackdown. I don't know if that was the Smackdown before. Yeah, it would have been. It would have been the week before. They had a tag team match.
Oh,
Cena and Harper versus Orton
Orton and Wyatt.
and Wyatt.
Okay.
And at the time, Luke Harper refused to strike Bray Wyatt, but he wanted to destroy Orton.
Orton, yeah.
Yeah, and that was causing issues. So due to all the confusion in that, Orton had managed to, lay out the RKO onto Cena and beat him. So I guess he had his shot, and then, like you said, Cena won this one.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, and then that was pretty much it. That was SmackDown in a nutshell.
Right on.
Yep, it's a good show. I liked it.
Nice. Well, we have reached the 1 hour and 50-minute mark. So going on 2 hours. Is there anything else you want to cover?
No, I think we're good. I think we've hashed it out enough for this evening, for this episode.
All right. Well, I look forward to episode number 3. Thanks, guys. It was an awesome time. Thank you, James. And we'll catch you next time.
Ciao for now.